I have the great pleasure of introducing my friend Joanna Shaw. 3 years ago, Joanna would say, "I am not a poet." Tonight, she will say, "I am." Thank you. Thank you, Liz, especially. Gives us a moment to be grateful for all of the people that mentor us in our lives, yes?
Yes.
Yes. I wrote this first poem after I finished my manuscript, and I needed to have a moment of, more than a moment, I needed to relax and just let it go and not worry about what to do next. That's where this came from. I call it the gap. Be with the gap between endings and beginnings. Relish a no-time remembrance before lumbering into more doing. Enter your cave. Hibernate with the bear inside you. Allow stores of fat and thick fur to gestate yearnings. Let your next cycle be more than habitual wanderings, grabbing more berries and meat. Harness the natural rhythm that awakens deep dreamers and births new ways of being come spring. I thank Liz for that last line. And then after, I've got this book that's in the publishing process, and it's an interesting journey. After I finished writing the manuscript, I was wanting to reconnect with my poetic voice and decided to go take the workshop from Peter Sears, who was our last poet laureate. That was back in October, just to awaken the poet voice in me and to remind me that this voice is important. All of our voices are. So I call the poem, "Your Voice is Important." My poetry seems to be spurred in this way because it's self-talk to keep me going forward. Because I've been looking to reclaim my voice since I was a child, and you'll learn more about that as I read. Your voice is important. Suppose this moment held all that you want to say, and you weren't 6 anymore, and he wasn't alive to stop you, but it feels like you are, and he is. Would the courage that lifted you back on the horse after a hard fall move you to show up in a small audience of poets studying with a poet laureate? Suppose this master poet reminds you of your father. But unlike your father, he says, your voice is important, more so than the content of the poem. As he invites the class to narrate an event spurred by the prompt, suppose. Would you slip down the deep well of your body in search of your voice? Time quietly ticking away, scribble 2 false starts in the last few moments before writing, suppose this moment held all that you want to stay and were afraid to say. Then diverge into some shadowy forest metaphor, trying to do the assignment right. Right. After listening to others read and receive his transparent reflections, watching the clock slowly count down the minutes, suppose there was time for you. And following a painful silence, hoping one of the few remaining others would volunteer, your eyes lock on his compassionate gaze. Would you speak what you wrote? He said, this is an ambitious poem. Preserve the beginning, write it on a separate piece of paper, continue from there, 3 times. Keep coming back to the concrete, like the opening. Suppose you find inside disclosure your voice with its many colors and tones, discovering that its sound is not as scary as the memory of what could no longer follow, that it is safe now to come out of the woods and sing.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes. So my journey in discovering my voice is about getting comfortable with me, and comfortable in my own skin, comfortable in my own power, and I love that my dreams give me responses and reflections about how I'm doing. This is a recent one. In my dream, I stand in your pasture, open, empty, waiting. Your palomino presence appears before me. You rear up, rest your forelegs over my shoulders, as if to greet me with a hug. Startled, I feel your short hair, the weight of your shin bone, your horsey scent consuming me. I wonder, can I support your size and power? You lightly rest there until my fears dissolve. And I become playful, appreciating you as you've appreciated me. I call your name. You gently lift, place your hooves on the ground. The halter isn't necessary. I trust you. Have no need to control. Only a sweet desire to dance freely with you. That's mine.